win thanks to the leg of Brandon Aubrey, drilling a 64-yard field goal to send the game into overtime and another 46-yarder to win it in overtime. The Cowboys defense gave up over 500 yards to the New York Giants, including 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Swagoo, that means I'm coming right to you. Are you feeling encouraged or discouraged by Dallas after their slim win over the G-Men?
I'm discouraged, man, and I want to be so encouraged. I clap because we win, and I'm going to celebrate it every time we win. But to make Russell Wilson look like he was back in Seattle on his way to a Super Bowl blew my mind. And it's just compounding because we know Micah Parsons is in Green Bay. And even in the first game, CC, with Jalen Hurts and when he was taking off, I was like, damn, it would have been nice to have that fast defensive end chasing people down and getting people off the field on third down. My concern is the defense. Offensively, I thought Dallas was going to be one of the better teams in the NFC, but defensively right now, man, it's just it's a bad situation. And I understand Bland wasn't in the game, and it was Kyer Elam. And I think Elam is going to be a good player. I think he was in a tough situation against Malik Neighbors. But to see Russell Wilson have that success against that defense, knowing what you actually have to play to try to get through the NFC and win something that matters, I wasn't very encouraged by that.
What about you, Cece?
Yeah, I was encouraged by the Dallas Cowboys, and it's not with the defense, but it's with the offense. You got a receiver tandem that is as talented as any receiver tandem in the NFL. And if Dak Prescott is able to stay upright, then you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys being a team that could potentially win double-digit games, regardless. Now, as long as they don't disqualify themselves before the trade deadline, I think that this front office, this ownership group would be willing to make a move and add to that defensive unit. Now, what we've seen for the Dallas Cowboys from a scheduling standpoint, 3 of their next 4 opponents don't have a.
Okay.
So there'll be the potential for them to still be hanging around late October, early November. And I would anticipate if that's the case, Cowboys adding to that defense to try to fortify that unit because their offense gives them a chance to get to the playoffs.
What's their biggest need?
They got
What's their biggest need?
pass rush. They got to get pass rush.
So
okay?
you're trying to tell me that their biggest need?
I knew it. You walked right
I
into
mean,
it.
that's what
They
it
gotta
is.
get a pass
So their biggest need that's hindering them is the one that was fulfilled when they had Micah Parsons and they let the man walk out.
No, Stephen A., there is no doubt. They moved on from their best player and created a massive hole. They got to fix it. They got to fix it. And Jerry said when he made the Micah Parsons trade that those picks weren't just for future drafts, that they could potentially use those picks to add players this season.
Swagoo, far be it for me to get in your way. Feel free to take the floor and explain.
I agree with CC, but why the hell would I be optimistic that they gonna do it? Like that my issue lies with when people do things over a course of time. At times you got to believe them. And I see the Jadeveon Clowney move. I see the Kenny Clark in the trade. All of that is fine, CC. But at some point, like a generational talent like Micah Parsons, you let go to leverage future picks that you don't know if they're going to work out. Here's the thing, too, and nobody talks about it, and I don't feel comfortable always talking about players. They drafted Mozzie Smith in the first round, and he didn't pan out. So what I'm using
Charlton is another one.
Same. I'm using those as examples that them damn first round picks might not mean nothing.
All right, let me transition because we got all year to talk about that because Dallas problems ain't going nowhere. I mean,
we know you gonna talk about them all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, and I'm gonna mention it. You know, so I'm gonna mention it every now and then. You know, I tell you, we gotta go to a game together. We're gonna have fun with that. But here's the deal, y'all. I gotta transition to the New York Giants because we saw Russell Wilson. I didn't like that Hail Mary style interception he threw in overtime. Both teams had offensive possessions. You gotta protect the football. You gotta make sure you don't give that turnover. It's second down for crying out loud. You could have done something better than that, but he had faith in his receivers. I just don't like the way he threw it off his back foot and just laid it up there like that. Having said that, he did throw for 450 yards. He did look like the second coming of Dan Marino for crying out loud for most of this game. Should Russ's play change plans for starting Jackson Dart? I'll start with you, Mr. Giant.
No, it shouldn't, but it will. I'll acknowledge that. The Giants want to be deliberate in terms of when they insert Jackson Dart as the starting quarterback, and they want to allow Russell Wilson to have as much runway as they possibly can while also maintaining being competitive. Now, the fact that they lost on Sunday's game means that they're moving closer to Jackson Dart, even though Russ had a turn back the clock type of performance. But Stephen A., the record is what the record is. If you're not winning games, you cannot win games while allowing your rookie quarterback the benefit of being able to gain experience so he can improve and be ready to be a force multiplier for this franchise. Russell Wilson ain't your future. He's just not, okay? He's at the end of his career. Jackson Dart is the future, and at some point in the near future, Russell Wilson is going to give way to Dart.
What about you, Swagger?
It's very difficult to disagree with Chris, but I do, because the performance has to matter, right? If you're Brian Daboll and you're this organization, you actually walked out of the stadium in Dallas saying we should have won that game. And if you would have won that game, it would have been because of your quarterback. It wouldn't have been anything else. It would have been him and Malik Neighbors. And turning it over.
Wendell Robinson.
And turning it over to Jackson Dart, which I'm in agreement with, because I said Jackson Dart should have started at the beginning of the season. Go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and just get the next.
Because they didn't have one that left tackle. I was thinking you wait until you get him back and your offensive line is together before you put
Andrew
Jackson
Thomas coming back, who you're talking about, that's fine. But I still believe that sometimes the quarterback changes that as well, if possible, with his athleticism, things he can do. But I can't summarily dismiss watching Russ go down the field time and time again, especially when you had a disgruntled receiver the week prior that he made it a point to be the superstar in that game in Malik Neighbors. And if you're Brian Daboll and you watching that level of production, you got to think to yourself, if we can do this consistently, which is the question that you're asking, we could win more games than we lose. And I think you gamble that a little bit by making that change.
You know what I'm marveling about with Malik Neighbors? Every time I see him, he's open.
Be open.
He's usually waiting for the football, but he almost always has his man beat or his man.
You know what college you went to. They got a propensity to be open.
I feel you on that. You understand? I understand that.
Not Alabama.
The Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys secondary. Is your coach all right? He's going to chew out reporters even more. So, is your coach all right?
I actually like the fire.
It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me either, but he seemed more emotional about the media than the game. I'm just saying. This ain't what LSU used to be now, but maybe they'll get it back. Do we have
what this season is supposedly about? Like, I understand if you were hoping for a Super Bowl championship in New York, then you panic. You was foolish. Yeah, you were foolish, and then you panic. But that's not the expectation. They should show patience, get ready for Jackson Dart when he's ready, put him out there when it's time.
If nothing else, they have found a superstar in Malik Neighbors.
Absolutely.
J-Mac, you did Dolphins-Patriots this week. Dolphins were non-competitive week one. This was a tough game. Is it time for panic or patience in Miami?
There is some panic going on in Miami right now. Yes, this game was better. Yes, the offense showed up. Yes, Tyreek Hill caught a 30-yard pass on their last possession, though. 2 penalties kept them out of the ability to score, and they ended up falling short. There's panic going on in the 305.
All right, and then the Chicago Bears, who made all the changes during the offseason, so much hope coming in, and they start out 0-2 and got really manhandled this week by Detroit. Jeff, patience or panic?
I'm going patience here. And listen, it's similar to what Neek was just saying about the Giants. What are our expectations? We want Ben Johnson to build relationship with Caleb Williams. We want to see Caleb Williams progressing week in and week out.
Why are you so on TV lying? getting our backs beat in week 2 to somebody we talk trash to when we got our. It's just we're gonna have to just be patient, relax, Bears fans. I was on air last week with y'all telling you to be patient. I can't change it. Give me a day or two.
Is the reality of it though that it's just going to take a little time?
No doubt.
For Caleb Williams. Orlovsky was warning of this during